What's up, everybody? This is Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And tonight we've got a double feature. Yes, first time in a long time that I'm actually doing two videos in one day because we have to continue on a part two for XCN, talking about the Onyx Coin project. So here's the deal. We covered the TA. I laid it out, and hopefully I made it very clear. But we need to dig in. Okay, because someone had posted, well, it looks like they're dying a slow death and it's just going to take a long time. So I said, you know what? I need to dig in and see where the project is going. You know, what's happening as far as developments? Where are they at? And then there was a couple people that posted that I erroneously said that the Onyx Coin project is associated with JP Morgan. Sorry about that. I completely forgot. It's been a year. It's been a long time. I did realize that XCN has nothing to do with JP Morgan, but I forgot about that. So way back in the days when I had first bought into it, it's because those rumors were floating around and I thought that they were associated. And then I sold for a 300% return once I figured out that they did not have anything to do with JP Morgan. So crack that up to an aging memory, but let's talk about what's actually going on with XCN. I'm going to give you some general stuff, and then we're going to give you 6 different points. We're going to cover the actual use case in the technology. We'll talk about recent developments, the adoption and the partnerships. That's an important one. Their competitive advantages, their development and revenue, and then the risks and their negative press. So some of the stuff is not so good. Some of it is good, but let's just jump in and talk about this. So first, we're going to look at the actual website. I had not been to the website in a long time. So this is what the website looks like, and it has completely been overhauled, okay? Because the last time I was on the XCN website, it looked absolutely nothing like this. So they've done a lot of work. So here it is, the financial ledger. Onyx is a modular blockchain designed for financial grade applications, offering near instant confirmations and low fees. Now we'll talk about whether or not they're putting that to work, if it's getting used. So that's coming next. You can check out the website yourself, get the tokenomics, look at all the information. It is a slick website. They've done a good job. It's very clean, easy to read. So there's that. Now let's jump back. And I'm going to be putting on the glasses here, the reading glasses, and I'm going to share with you all of my notes, okay, what I dug up, and we'll just pound straight through this update as fast as I can. And then I'm going to give you my final determination at the end. Okay, so in a nutshell, they are evolving. There have been some updates. They got this new multi-chain wallet launch that happened. They got some governance upgrades, but there's been a lot of volatility. Okay, they've had a couple legal controversies, and the whole institutional adoption thing, well, we got some uncertainty there. We'll get into that. They've got advantages. We'll talk about their whole technological advantages. We got gas-free transfers, and we'll see if all of that can come together and help them for some long-term success, but that's going to depend on adoption. We're going to get into the details of that here in a minute. So hopefully they'll have sustained development and they can overcome all of this stuff, all of the road bumps and the risks, and maybe it'll be all positive rewards. All right, so here we go. The first bullet point is their use case and technology. All right, so XCN powers the Onyx protocol, and that's a decentralized finance platform. You call that DeFi for short. For those of you who know, you know. If you don't, DeFi is moving traditional finance, or TradFi, to the blockchain, okay? And DeFi focuses on lending, borrowing, staking, and governance, okay? So that's what Onyx Chain is all about. It's DeFi. All right, so it's built as a layer 3 blockchain, and it's on Arbitrum Orbit. And so they're using some fancy stuff. I'm going to have some fancy technical words for you here. They're using optimistic rollups. They're also using AnyTrust. And so those are used for the secure, low-cost, high-throughput transactions. That's where a big institution will be able to come in and move lots of money through this network. Okay, so the protocol supports multi-asset classes, and that's a good thing. So it's ERC20, that's on your Ethereum blockchain. It supports ERC721, that's your NFTs, and then you got your ERC1155 tokens. And so they are aiming to serve developers, creators, and the institutions. And that third one's going to be the most important one. Next is recent developments. Okay, so August 2025, they had the multi-chain smart wallet that launched on Ethereum, also BNB chain and Base chain. And this is what enables the gas-free XCN transfers. And that's kind of cool. So you can like buy XCN and then use it to move from, one wallet to another, one chain to another, and avoid like the huge high Ethereum gas fees. Okay. And so this is what led to a 10% price surge and also a 204% spike in trading volume, which signals strong user interest. Okay, so that's good. They had a governance upgrade, OIP 56, and that approved cross-chain XCN transfers and also infrastructure improvements. And for those of you who are tech heads, you know that cross-chain transfers is a big headache and it can get expensive in gas. Okay, last we've got the staking partnerships. They collaborated with the Earn Network, very cool, and also MyCointainer to offer 40% API on BNB Smart Chain. Now, that's a lot, and I'd like to know, post in the comments if anybody is doing that staking and getting the 40%. I want to know. I'm wondering if anybody here in the XCN Army is taking advantage of that. Next section, adoption and partnerships. Okay, so buckle your seatbelts here. This one's not as good. As of right now, there ain't not one enterprise or government agency that has publicly adopted Onyx Coin for payments or for infrastructure. Okay, so that's not good. They've been listed on some exchanges like Bitunix. That's not groundbreaking, but at least when you get on listings, it expands your retail access. But that doesn't say anything about getting the institutional traction. That's where they're going to make their money. Okay, you could have government agencies, corporations, who knows, just any financial institution. They could use the network to move money around, to make payments. All right. So that's where they really need to gain the traction to survive. Okay. Next, competitive advantages. This one is positive. So they got this layer 3 architecture that offers faster and cheaper transactions. And they're actually faster than a whole lot of layer 1 and layer 2 chains. So that's good. Plus, they've got cross-chain compatibility and the gasless transfers. That's good. And so that attracts your retail users and your developers. And then we talked about the flexible asset support, the ERC20, ERC, the 721s for your NFTs. So that makes it very versatile as a DeFi platform. Okay, the 1155s too. Next, development and revenue. So it looks like the team has been shipping out updates, and that includes their new white paper that came out, the new staking pools, and also some new governance proposal. And as far as revenue, it looks like they're making money from the transaction fees that are paid in XCN, and then staking incentives. And then we've got the token burns and the emissions control that's going on to maintain the value of the XCN token, but it's not maintaining value. All right, we'll leave that alone. Next, we're going to go to the risks and the negative press. Okay, so first of all, the volatility. It's been good, it's been bad. So we talked about it in the last video, that 1,500% surge had happened in January 2025, and that's when we had the 500 new subscribers jump in who are XCN fans. In fact, we had 8 new people that subscribed just on that last XCN video, so welcome aboard. I'll be sticking with XCN for the long haul and keeping you updated. Well, anyway, after the surge, we had the steep decline and $2 million in liquidations. So that kind of raises up the red flag, the concerns about the sustainability over time. Now, the next thing that they had that was bad was their legal drama. So they had this big public feud with the Tron founder, Justin Sun. And You guys that have been in the market since, say, 2016, like me, you know all about Justin Sun and all the drama, the BS, and the craziness that he gets involved in. Okay, so they had a feud with Justin Sun over accusations of market manipulation. Okay, so then that leads to threats of legal action and calls for the SEC, and the Department of Justice to jump in and investigate. I don't know how all that's played out. We'll have to dig in deeper on that. And so then the last thing here, negative funding rates and declining network growth. That ain't good. So that raises more red flags with the analysts out there that are not giving so positive of an outlook. Now, let's talk about my outlook and let's wrap it all up and bring it home. So they've made a lot of good technical strides and they are actively developing, which is great. That's a lot more than you can say about many of the projects that are out there, because we got projects where the devs have ghosted. Like look at Myro, the Solana meme. The devs ghosted, but the thing is still trading. The community is carrying it. So that's good. But the success, like I said, it depends on the long-term adoption by, the institutions and not just this retail speculation and people, buying the tokens and hoping for a massive pump like that $1,500% spike in January. We need business. We need the institutional partnerships. Okay. Or at least like a very clear revenue model that goes beyond the tokenomics, okay? And so the thing is, it risks being outpaced by more established DeFi platforms like, you got Aave out there that used to be Lend, or Maker, okay? So they're real big, they're solid. The total value locked in those projects is like humongous. So it's gonna be hard to compete with them unless they get to act together and get these institutional investors. Okay, so beyond that, we can say that the layer 3 design, the cross-chain focus, the gasless UX, that's a good thing, okay? That's compelling. So if the team can stabilize the token economy and keep this sucker from, diving down and secure some real-world integrations. I mean, come on, guys, go get the big companies, get the big companies out there using this thing. Then maybe they'll carve out, their own niche in the DeFi infrastructure space, but they got to do that. So anyhow, that's what I dug up. Let me know if this is news to you, because like I said before, I forgot completely that they have nothing to do with JP Morgan, and I didn't know really what was going on. I was just looking at the chart. Okay, and the chart right now doesn't look that good, but like I said in the video, and if you didn't see it, go back and watch it. I think that first quarter, second quarter 2026, it'll have its time. Even if things turn sour for business growth, the chart is still set up to pump. It probably will pump. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you are in the XCN Army and if you learned something today and if this update was valuable. And then we're going to get on to the other projects that people have been begging me to cover some TA on, and Sato is one of them. I'm holding a bag of Sato, so we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that very, very soon. Stick with me. That's all I've got for this one. It's Carlton. I'm out.